Hi, I'm Larry London. Welcome to Border Crossings. On today's show, one of the most recognizable voices from the 1980s and 1990s, as the lead singer of 10,000 Maniacs, and as a solo artist, Natalie Merchant has scored numerous hit records, from Because the Night and These Are Days to Carnival, Wonder, and Jealousy. In 2015, Natalie marked the 20th anniversary of one of her most successful and also her favorite CD, Tiger Lily. She joins us on today's show to talk about her music and sing some of her biggest hits. Join us today for Border Crossings with Natalie Merchant, coming up next. Hi, this is Larry London, and welcome to Border Crossings. Today, one of my favorites is here in Washington, D.C. She is on tour right now, and she's promoting a brand new album. It's her first in several years, but I'm sure you'll know the music. We'd like to welcome to D.C. and to the Voice of America, the one and only Natalie Merchant. Welcome to D.C.
Thank you, Larry.
What an honor it is to have you in our studios.
Well, we're very excited to be here, Eric and I.
Eric, welcome too.
Hi.
And congratulations on the new album and the upcoming tour. You've got a tour, and it's going to take you to Europe and all around the world, for that matter. So why a 20th anniversary celebration of the new album?
Well, Tiger Lily came out in 95, and it was the first solo album I'd ever made after I'd been in a band for 12 years, a band called 10,000 Maniacs.
I think I've heard of it.
And it was this pivotal moment for me of, for the first time, being able to speak for myself through my own music. And I decided to produce the record myself. And all these years later, after I've lived with these songs for so long, I just noticed that they changed quite a bit. Especially in the last 5 or 6 years, I've done lots of orchestral performing. And so 5 of the songs had orchestral arrangements. And I just wanted to go back, revisit the music, and show how it had changed over the years.
Paradise is There, which is also the name of your documentary. And I was watching the film, and it was very moving. And in the course of the hour or so that the film was going on, you tell the story of all of the songs in great detail on the album. And I know we were talking just a bit before we started the interview that this first song you're going to do for us, it has a thread of Americana. A lot of things that are in this country, in the music and folk and Americana, that's inspired you throughout the years. Right. That's how you came to this first song.
Right. It's a song about two lovers who are kind of appropriate for each other, and yet they don't stay together. There's just this moment where they cross paths. And it happens in the Rocky Mountains, and it just has lots of idioms that are truly American. You'll recognize them in the lyrics, and just evocative of the West, which is a mythic, construct in America.
Would you mind doing it for us?
Sure, we can do it.
That would be great. Natalie Merchant here on Border Crossings.
Well, it's a drunken meet-up in a crude saloon in a poor Rocky Mountain town. He's a scoundrel and she's no pearl, and together they are two lovers cruel. Got her balanced on his knee, and he knows exactly what to say. You ain't been born till you get out of town, and honey, you might come with me. You might come with me. If you do, if you do, if you do, and if you do, spare the innocent ones and take you with me, and together we will be drifters free. Got it tangled in his arms, and she's a lust and trust and fool. There's no man born that can rule me, that I've sworn, no, but stranger, stranger, if you do, I belong to you. If you do, if you do, if you do, and if you do, would you spare the innocent ones, and would you take me with you? You know I wanna wander too. Spare the innocent ones, and won't you take me with you? Can you love the land and love me too? Well, as he grows sober, he sees his love anew. In the morning light so true, and then he gets on the move, on the move.
Amazing. Lovely. You have a voice from heaven, I'll tell you.
Oh, thank you.
You're absolutely gorgeous. You've always had that voice, too. I mean, your voice has not changed in all these years.
So far, so good.
So far, so good, although I know that you've got a little throat thing.
It's gotten deeper.
Deeper?
Yeah, it's deeper. And it's something that I always hoped for when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
There was this kind of throaty, sultriness that I couldn't really attain in my 20s. And it's come down. I've retained, luckily, the higher register, but now I can do "Never knew how much I love you." Boom, ba-doom, boom. I can do that now.
And you started at 17 with 10,000 Maniacs.
I did.
In New York, and
in a small town in New York.
Jamestown, New York,
little factory town.
Now, interesting career for somebody who admits to being introverted, admits to being a person who doesn't like to be in the public eye, and you are in the public eye.
I just think there are so many actors and musicians who are born introverts, but the it actually makes sense because the stage or a film set can give you this opportunity to freely express emotions that maybe in other normal circumstances, social circumstances, would be really uncomfortable for you. Mm-hmm.
And I know watching you perform on television and video, you have certain moves that are associated with Natalie Merchant and the spinning around and the dancing. And one of the things you did was you used to perform without shoes a long, long time ago, which wasn't fashionable back then. You did it first. Joss Stone and a number of others do it today, but you kind of set a trend and certainly paved the way for a lot of artists. A lot of talented people have come through the same trail as Natalie Merchant. They use you as their inspiration. I've heard interviews where people always cite you.
Oh, really?
Yes. How does that make you feel?
Well, you telling me that makes me feel very good.
Yeah. Well,
because I definitely was influenced by female musicians who came before me.
Mm-hmm. Petula
and
Clark, is
contemporaries.
that one of your favorites?
I love Petula Clark. My mother was a huge Petula Clark fan, and I think that's where between the Beatles, my parents were very young, so they would collect records as they were coming out, and there was this anticipation about a new record, and then they would go buy it, and then it would be the record in the house for that month. And my mother would dance around the living room, and we would dance too. And I just, from a young age, really grew to appreciate albums, like start to finish, not just, one or two songs, but really diving into an album and looking at the packaging and, studying the lyrics and the photographs. And
is this what you always planned to do, was music? I mean, you were working at a health food store. Were you thinking about becoming a singer at that time when you were younger?
No, I didn't think. I love singing, but I was a very practical kid. I thought I'd, want to be an artist, but end up being a nurse or something.
And so the music
Teacher.
has found its way into your life, and you have found your way into many, many, many lives, and into many different places. You performed in the White House.
I performed at one of Clinton's inaugural celebrations. I never made it to the White House.
Oh, you didn't go to the White House? Well, you were close enough for President Clinton at the time.
I visited the White House, and I met President Clinton, but I didn't perform.
I wanted to know, how has becoming a mother changed how you write songs, how you view your music, how you perform?
I write them in the middle of the night when everyone's asleep.
When you get a break.
Well, because writing has always required almost a state of self-imposed hypnosis for me, especially lyric writing. And you need a lot of time and space for that. You can't be answering questions and, tying shoes and things like that. So I found that I just started working in the middle of the night just to find that solitude.
You paint as well?
I draw and paint. I do. It's a private outlet of creativity.
I remember reading when you had taken a break from music after having your daughter that you got into art, painting and things. You focused more of your time and attention. Are you still doing that today? Still painting?
Yes, I do. I do still draw and paint. It's very interesting because I really thought that would be the direction that I would head artistically when I was younger, and I'm glad that it wasn't, because I have a really hard time parting with my work. But it's different with music. It's more ephemeral, and it's more communal, and I get to share the experience with the musicians on stage and the people in the audience, and you're just living and breathing and like giving music at the moment. And it's different from spending hours and hours on a painting, and then I could never sell a painting.
You never know.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I won't even give them away.
You get inspiration from a variety of places. One of those places in your film that I was watching were the love of your grandparents. You talk about family love. And you said there's a lot of people writing songs about love of each other.
Romantic.
But not...
Especially fantasy romantic love.
And it's an interesting story about your grandparents, who were married 58 years, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's probably a more common story in other countries than the United States, because we have such a high rate of divorce now, and other times. I think their generation was the last generation to have those extremely long, decades-long committed marriages. And I got to witness that. And
so, the new documentary, which deals with the songwriting and where you get your inspiration, you talk about the studio, you want it to feel like home. You want it to feel like a family and home all the time. This isn't your first documentary.
No, this is the third documentary I've been involved in.
And the other one of those you directed. It was actually about a specific cause.
Domestic violence. Yeah, that was a really difficult year when I really immersed myself in the issue of domestic violence. And I decided to focus on domestic violence in my own community, which was really eye-opening. I spent a lot of time with the prosecutors, special victims prosecutors, and advocates and people who ran shelters and victims of domestic violence. I became close with a woman whose aunt had been murdered by her husband in their home. And And she gives a testimonial in the film. And also a woman, this was a really inspiring story, a woman who had been a victim of domestic violence, who then went on to become the statewide coordinator of a coalition against domestic violence. So she tells her story too, and that's where the hope and redemption is that you can, stop the cycle.
You have given your voice to so many different causes. For example, the schools. You've helped out New York schools, New York school children, disability. The song "Wonder" was inspired by children dealing with disability,
right?
Which became a book as well.
Yes, R.J. Palacio wrote a book called "Wonder" that is, I don't know how many printings it's been in, but it's 3 years on the New York Times bestsellers list for children's books. And it's being read all over the country and all over the world. It's been translated in several languages. And it's inspired this anti-bullying campaign that millions of kids are involved in. And I had a chance to meet her and thank her.
It's a great time now because these issues are becoming more discussed. They used to be hidden, not discussed, and now it's become out in the forefront. And so it's a good time, for people like you to have this opportunity to send that message.
Well, tolerance and inclusion are things that were never really discussed in my classroom. Being tolerant of other people who, being tolerant of people's differences. And, accepting people because of, not in spite of, but because of those differences. Finding value in those people. I remember when I was 15 years old, I spent the entire summer volunteering in a day camp for children with disabilities. It was an arts camp. And I really thought that I would be an art therapist because I was so moved by what I saw. The children, we had a lot of autistic children. We had many institutionalized children who were nonverbal. But if you gave them paint or you gave them a guitar, just any kind of instrument, they would just lighten up and they would begin to communicate. There was one boy that they said had never spoken a word in the camp all summer, and at the end of the year we had such a strong bond that he stood on top of a slide and he called me mama, because that must have been his word for a woman that he communicated with.
Right,
and he went,
right.
Mama! And
Wow.
Everyone just turned, but we had spent so much time together drawing and painting and dancing, and this bond was between us. But anyway, I remember those kids really well when I wrote Wonder, that the exceptional gifts that those children had and the way that what they gave to me. I ended up, so many people find this experience that they volunteer their time thinking they're going to help, and they come out of that experience feeling like they were helped and they grew from it more.
It sounds like to me, listening to you speak, that your success was not really the goal. You were never. It doesn't sound like you sought fame. That's not what you were after.
No, that, to be honest, came as a big surprise. And everything that I was doing aesthetically was kind of a bit unfashionable. There was a post-punk movement going on in the early 80s, and I rediscovered American and British folk music. and so, I remember on the first time the Maniacs made an album for a major label, we recorded Just as the Tide Was A-Flowing, which was an old English folk song. And we worked with Joe Boyd, who had produced Sandy Denny and Fairport Convention and Nick Drake. So we made some, all along I've sort of just followed my own interests and my own passions and didn't really pay attention to whether they would sell or not. And when Tiger Lily came out, it really shocked the industry because it sold over 5 million copies. They didn't know there were 5 million people who might find what I was doing interesting. And
would you say that's your favorite album of all your albums?
I have a lot of affection for that album, and I still play probably half of those songs on a regular basis. But the most, I did a record in 2010, a double album called Leave Your Sleep. I think that's my favorite project.
And in the new Tiger Lily recordings, are there new songs?
Nope.
No new songs?
No, we re-recorded the 11 songs from the original album. I made an original album. When was that? 2014? Was it? Yeah, I made it last year.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got really sick, and we canceled our tour, and it was so that album really didn't really get the attention that I wanted to give it.
All right, Natalie Merchant's here. Would you do another song for us?
Sure. So let's do Carnival. We'll do Carnival. I've walked these streets, a virtual stage, it seemed to me. Makeup on their faces, actors took their places next to me. Well, I've walked these streets in a carnival of sights to see. All the cheap thrill seekers, vendors and dealers, they crowded around me. Have I been blind? Have I been lost inside myself and my own mind? Hypnotized, mesmerized, what my eyes have seen. I've walked these streets in a spectacle of wealth and poverty. In the diamond market, scarlet welcome carpet, they just rolled out for me. Have I been blind? Have I been lost inside myself and my own mind? Hypnotized, mesmerized, what my eyes have seen. Have I been wrong? Have I been wise to shut my eyes and play along? Hypnotized, paralyzed, what my eyes have found. By what my eyes have seen. Oh, what they have seen. Have I been blind? Have I been lost? Oh, have I been lost? Have I been wise? Have I been weak? Have I been strong? Have I been hypnotized, mesmerized? What my eyes have found, what my eyes have found. In that great street carnival, in that carnival.
Wow. Outstanding. Beautiful.
Thank you.
You have a beautiful voice. Natalie Merchant. And the album is called Paradise is There, the new Tiger Lily recordings. And so you have been on the charts for years and, been in the business for a number of years. Do you like the business today compared to when you first started? Or do you not like it? Is it better today than it was or not as good?
I don't really pay so much attention to the business, which is good because business is not good.
Right. It's hard
Overall,
to sell CDs now.
It's an industry that's in transition. Maybe it's obsolete now. Making records is still a pleasure, and we like making music and we like performing. But definitely that model of make a record, sell a record. We're seeing the end of that. So it's in transition. And what I like about it, what has been the death of the industry has also breathed new life into it, and that's digital technology and the internet. You can do things independently that you couldn't do before.
For the next album, what's inspiring you these days? What are you writing about?
I'm not doing so much writing these days. What I'm doing is there's a long-term project that I'm involved in of trying to revive an interest in folk music among children. I think arts and education is the direction that I've been heading for a while, since Leave Your Sleep, and which they were all adaptations of children's poems that are put to music. And I've worked in folk music before, and I've taught folk music to children, and their knowledge generally is abysmal of their own cultural inheritance. So I would like to find a way, and I think the internet, once again, is probably going to be the best way to reach them. And so I'd like to make a large database of folk music sung by children, for children, and probably videotape them, because that's the way they like to absorb music anyway, is by watching it on their phones or their computers or their tablets. But once you're given a song, no matter what the means of reception is, that song is with you forever. It's an amazing gift. And I've watched these children, when I've taught them these 300-year-old songs that teach them so much about language and history and, simple melodic structures. And they look so beautiful and they sound so beautiful when they're angelic when they sing them, and they thank me, so they really enjoy learning the music. So that's where I'm heading.
Well, you've given the world a lot of jewels, a lot of great songs, and we all thank you for all the great music. And this tour that you're on right now, that begins, I believe, after the new year, last tour you got canceled because of health issues. So this is the first tour in a while. You haven't been on a tour for a few years.
No, the way that I've handled touring, because I'm primarily a mother and I want to stay home with my 12-year-old daughter, what I've done for years now is these orchestral shows, the last 6-7 years. And they can be done maybe 1 or 2 a month. So I don't have to launch a big production tour, but it really satisfies that desire I have to be out performing. But I just arrive with a couple musicians and a conductor, and we meet the orchestra, and they have our scores, and we get to play this gorgeous concert, and then I get to go home in time to, make lunch and drive to school and help with homework and do all those important things.
And the tour this time around takes you to, I think, Ireland and Belgium and a few other places throughout Europe?
Yeah, we're going to Holland and Germany and Ireland, and we're playing Royal Albert Hall in London, which we're very excited about.
Excellent. Well, the world loves Natalie Merchant. We're glad you're on the road and you're feeling well. And you have a brand new album out, Paradise is There, the new Tiger Lily recordings.
And the documentary.
Where can people see the documentary around the world?
Well, they could either purchase it with the CD, or it's I think it starts streaming on iTunes next week.
Outstanding. Could you do another song for us?
Oh, yeah.
We're so thrilled to have you in our studios here in D.C.
Thank you.
What an honor.
Oh, yeah. We'll do Wonder.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Doctors have come from distant cities just to see me. Stand over my bed, disbelieving what they're seeing. They say I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as they see, they can offer no explanation. Newspapers ask intimate questions. They want confessions. Reach into my hand, they try to steal the glory of my story. They say I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as they see, they can offer no explanation. Ooh, I believe fate smiled and destiny laughed as she came to my cradle. No, this child will be able. Laughed at my body she lifted. No, this child will be gifted with love and with patience and with faith. She'll make her way. She'll make her way. People see me, I'm a challenge to your balance, and I'm over your heads. How I confound you and astound you to know that I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as you see, you can offer me no explanation. Ooh, I believe fate smiled there, and destiny laughed as she came to my cradle. No, this child will be able. Laughed as my body she lifted. No, this child will be gifted. Laughed as she came to my mother. No, this child will not suffer. With love and with patience and with faith, she'll make her way. She'll make her way. This child is gonna make her way.
Natalie Merchant, live here on the Voice of America, and Wonder, one of the world's favorite songs. Your voice has touched so many people in so many places, and we thank you for the music. We thank you for the new CD. We're very happy and excited, as I'm sure you are too.
We appreciate being here, Larry. Thank you so much for having us.
To celebrate 20 years of Tiger Lily, which a lot of people still have this CD, play it all the time, I'm sure.
I've been really moved by the things that people have told me about this record. It seemed to have touched on a lot of core emotions that seem to be present in people's lives for decades, for the long haul. And the record seems to have this longevity, and it stays relevant.
It does, absolutely, as does your music.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalie Merchant, for coming in on the show. Paradise is there, the new Tiger Lily recordings. Get the album, check out the documentary. It's Natalie Merchant as our guest today. This is Border Crossings.